There you see the inspiration for this trophy series. Bill Bruce on the left of your screen, Jerry Mahoney on your right. Bill Bruce, St. Ignatius class of 36, Mahoney class of 44 at Sacred Heart. And a lot of people will tell you that Mahoney might have been one of the greatest athletes of his era in San Francisco. Not only played football, basketball, and track, he was a boxer.
So he pretty much did everything. He pretty much had all the tools in the toolbox.
So they're doing the opening night style introductions here where all the players being introduced, the starters for Sacred Heart Cathedral being introduced, the two head coaches for Sacred Heart Cathedral. It's Demetrius Jackson in his first year, Maya Falk at St. Ignatius, and Maya played in this rivalry, Joaquin, and she echoed the thoughts when I talked to her, saying anything can happen, anyone can be a hero.
Well, this is what, from a coach speak, as they say, you never want to come out too overconfident. And again, she played in the series. She understands the passion in the series as well. But again, when you're playing a rivalry match, as I mentioned at the top of the telecast, you have to throw all the records out because anything can happen. You don't know what can happen. Fouls can come into play. Somebody can get hot on the other team, can make shots. So what SI, what they need to do, George, is to make sure it isn't close. They don't want the game to come down to the referees towards the later part of the game.
So we're set to go here at Kezar. Claire Unselin will step into the center circle for St. Ignatius in the red. And Malia Scobie for Sacred Heart Cathedral in white on the right. Lead official is Wendy Tomaya Yu. And St. Ignatius wins the opening tap. Molly Ennis running the point. The Ennis sisters, a big part of this St. Ignatius program. Their big sister Maddie plays for Pacific. Down low to Elsie, and the first score of the night.
Nice job by Elsie getting inside as Sacred Heart came out in the 2-3 zone. SI was able to penetrate inside to Elsie for the easy bucket.
So clears it to Blecka. So is open. And the Irish extend the possession thanks to Poe. Franceschi and Scobie inside. There's Franceschi with it, bottom of your screen.
Extra possessions always bodes well for the teams that are the underdogs, getting extra opportunities to score.
Muniz short. The student bodies behind the respective baskets. Here, the Wildcat cheering section right now. They're at the west end of the building. The Fighting Irish fans at the Stanyon Street, the east side end of Kezar. Beautiful hesitation there for Sabrina Ma. I love that shot.
2 for 2. Sacred Heart comes out in the zone again. SI was able to penetrate, get a shot they like, and was able to score.
Franceschi wants it and gets it.
Sacred Heart did a great job of breaking the 2-2-1 zone for the layup.
And the three ball is there for Ma.
So that's Ma's second basket, 5 points early here in the first period. St. Ignatius using a pester press, trying to slow down Sacred Heart. They have less time to shoot on this side of the floor.
Blecka to Franceschi. Here's Muniz. And Scobie from the elbow.
Nice ball movement.
Well, Sacred Heart
able to find the open spot. Was able to knock it down.
Great recovery there by Elsie. Wildcats with plenty of time. Ennis in deep to Elsie. Wildcats down to 5 to shoot. Elsie got a hustle here for Ma. Got it off in time, but the Irish will get the rebound.
Ma with the float game, just a little long. Sacred Heart has a chance here to either tie or be down by one.
Franceschi with the dribble drive. And the steal by Ma. And the score for Acosta. Jackie Acosta going coast to coast.
Acosta did a great job of getting the steal, kept her chin up, had great spacing, used her body for the easy layup.
Irish break pressure again. Blecka to Poe. Nice rebound there. Scobie off the miss. And Elsie hauls it in for the Wildcats.
So the Wildcats, George, are using a 2-2-1, and they're going back into a half-court 55-man defense once the ball is broken press.
And Elsie cleans up the mess.
That's Elsie's second time scoring inside the paint, 2 feet inside. First time was on a post-up, and she was able to get a stick back on the offensive rebound.
Poe. Yes.
Poe was able to knock down the 3 ball 10 toes behind the line. Find themselves down by 4.
So we got a timeout on the floor called by St. Ignatius. Joaquin, your early impressions of the ball game.
Well, so far you see Sacred Heart is using a 2-3 zone defense because they're concerned about the size and the speed of St. Ignatius. However, St. Ignatius is getting inside at will, getting shots around the rim, which bodes well for them. Sacred Heart did a great job of breaking the press, and we got that last 3 ball 10 toes behind the line, was able to knock that down. They only find themselves down by 4. It's important for Sacred Heart to stay in contact in this game. They don't want to get too far behind because the Wildcats have a lot of firepower.
Well, both teams making a change here. Emmy Ennis is in for St. Ignatius, so both Emmy Ennis sisters, Molly and Emmy, now in. Acosta handling it. We saw Acosta go coast to coast earlier. Ma. And the reach gets called on Eid.
Yeah,
Madison Eid.
Sorry about that, George. Eid got her hand caught in the cookie jar. Easy foul call in front of the official. In that situation, George, you don't need to foul. You have plenty of time on the shot clock. Make them work the clock.
Officials have been very laissez-faire so far. Ennis. She traveled.
Nice idea with the jump stop with the step through, but she did travel, shuffle those puppies. That was a suitcase violation, the second suitcase violation of the night. Bags on the floor. Referee said no travel here.
11-7 St. Ignatius leads it. Fighting Irish break pressure again. Gallegos off the acceleration. Great recovery there. And Scobie misses. Rebound Ma. Beautiful pass to Elsie in the score.
Elsie ran the floor well. Ma kept her chin up. Elsie went to the front of the rim for the easy layup.
And the 3-ball answer coming from Poe. 13-10 St. Ignatius. Just when the Wildcats start to stretch, Joaquin, the Fighting Irish punch back.
Yeah, they're showing a lot of heart and a lot of determination. They're able to get out in transition and make shots. That's the biggest thing that you want to do in this situation here. Again, you want to stay in contact. They're only down by 3, so far, so good if I'm Sacred Heart Cathedral.
And Ma at the free throw line. You know, so many times in big rivalry games like this, it comes down to the foul line.
Layups, putbacks, and free throws are the 3 components that you have to win in terms of basketball. If you win 2/3 of those, you have a good chance of winning, give you a 66% chance to win the game.
Ma gets the spare. Two-possession game, 2:43 to go, first quarter. Mentioned when the game started that the winner of this game gets the leg up in the series. Boys action on Friday. Ma has been everywhere tonight. Another big rebound for her.
I like when Sacred Heart passed the ball, a lot of ball movement and man movement. The once pass is shot does not bode well for them.
Wildcats keep it alive. Emmy Ennis. Mahoney handling it. Ma for three. Yes!
And that was a nice job by Ennis with the skip pass to Ma for the knockdown, 10 toes behind the line again, playing from distance. Knocked it down to three. Count it.
Demetrius Jackson and Sacred Heart Cathedral take the timeout. And this is one of those timeouts, Joaquin, where I think a coach senses if I don't call it now, I might not have the chance to call ones later.
Yeah, again, you want to make sure that you're in contact at this point. You're talking to your team, trying to calm them down, saying, listen, what we need to do is make sure we have man movement and ball movement and close out on the shooters. At some point, Coach Jackson may have to come out of that zone and play some man-to-man to give the Wildcats a different look.
You know, I was talking with a pretty smart basketball sage a couple weeks ago. You know what they said to me? Eventually, every defense becomes man-to-man.
Eventually it does. And in a zone defense, how you turn it into a man-to-man, you just screen the top of the zone. And once that happens, now it's man-to-man. Each person has to match up. That's why you can get inside, you can make passes, cut to the back of the rim.
Sort of like an expression pilots have, in the end, all landings are visual.
I would imagine that.
We were on a flight once together. I think they looked at the ground before they landed. Pushed there by Blecka, and a foul on the Wildcats.
So that was a situation there where Coach Jackson called a timeout. He specifically knew what he wanted to do, get something going to the rim and try to stop the bleeding. Now they have an opportunity for 2 free throws.
Fouls on Emmy Ennis.
So George, if Sacred Heart does any type of pressing defense, look for them to press on this made free throw to try to change the tempo.
One more coming up for Blecka. Wildcats recover it.
You see they're extending out their zone defense, trying to get a little bit more ball pressure.
Ma again.
And Ma is having her way so far. I count 7 points.
Wildcats defend the 8-point lead. Ho with room gets fouled. And Mahoney unhappy with the call from Wendy Tomayayu's crew. Stephen Lee and Greg Ong worked the game tonight with Ms. Tomayayu.
Poe was extremely aggressive. The lane was wide open. She went straight to the lane and got a foul. Now hopefully she can knock down a couple of free throws.
Left-hander connects on the first.
In this situation, as we mentioned, you have to take advantage of all opportunities to score. Again, if Sacred Heart is able to score here, look for them to do some sort of press to try to turn the tempo up, to try to get a turnover in the backcourt.
Gets them both. Back to a 2-possession margin. Final minute in the first quarter.
And there's the 2-2-1.
Ennis nearly had it picked away. We haven't seen much of a press from the Fighting Irish until now.
Usually going to do it on made free throws or made baskets. Those are called sets from Coach Jackson.
Acosta gives it up to Ennis. Here's Acosta on the drive. Ma has scored everywhere tonight. And a beautiful look there for Untalan.
Great job by Ma to get it inside, finding their player 2 feet inside the lane.
Wildcats a chance for the final shot with 17 seconds left. Ma, big rebound for the Irish. Final 2 seconds. Ma nearly stole it, and that'll do it. The first quarter is in the books here at Kezar. It's St. Ignatius 21 and Sacred Heart Cathedral 13. You're following the Bruce Mahoney rivalry on the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
The COVID-19 vaccines are going to help us all get back to the moments we miss.
It's totally normal to have questions. I did too. That's why it's so important to get informed.
Ask your doctor and get the facts. It's up to you.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
And back here at Kezar, Sacred Heart Cathedral will have the ball to start the second quarter. Irish down 8.
Opportunity now for Sacred Heart to chop into this lead.
And Poe chips away at it.
Poe, the lefty, was able to rise and fire.
I like Poe's scrappiness.
Now you can see Sacred Heart move to a 1-2-2 matchup zone with Poe at the top.
Ennis with the rebound and the score.
You know, George,
Molly Ennis.
You know, George, one of the issues when you play a zone is that you have to find your man to rebound because you're guarding space. Sacred Heart has to do a better job of boxing out their man.
Mintenko misses. Acosta on the go. Ma. And Poe on the long rebound.
I have to agree, Poe is doing outstanding.
Off the Unzelin rebound. Open look. Teams have gotten cold right now, Joaquin.
I tell you what, Mars on her way to a double-double. She's rebounding, she's scoring at will. She may even get a triple-double the way she's finding open teammates.
And Ashley Enriquez dials long distance, and St. Ignatius takes the timeout.
Takes the timeout again. In this situation here, they may come out with some sort of pressure. They've seen it on the made free throw. They went to a 2-2-1, almost had a steal in the middle of the floor. So now he's going to set his defense at this point, calm his players down, say, hey, we're right back in this game. We're only down by 5 at this point, or 6. What's it, 6? 18-3? You know, my math isn't too good right now. By 6 right now, so great opportunity by 5. Thank you, George, for correcting me there. It's nice. It's nighttime. I go to day school.
Yeah, I know. This is why I'm not a professional blackjack player.
I tell you what, but at the end of the day, though, they're down by 5. It's a great opportunity here for Sacred Heart to get right back in this game. They need a stop and a score.
Wildcats subbing Maggie Mendoza. Acosta has done a lot of the up and down ball handling tonight. Mendoza touches it for the first time. Elsie wants it at the free throw line. Here is Acosta to Elsie. Always got to account for the trailer, Coach.
Nice job of penetrating inside, sucking the defense in. All eyes on me. Nice jump shot right at the free throw line.
Here's Scobie. Scobie got away with a travel. 4 to shoot. Rejection there by Ma. Ma does everything.
As I mentioned, she may get a triple-double and may get a couple blocks in there as well. I mean, she's pretty much have her DNA all over this game so far.
Officials are going to put 1 second back on the shot timer. They get a good look at the St. Ignatius rooting section beneath the basket. They got to let the clock run down. There they go. They got 1 second on it. And the Irish will not get it off in time.
I'll tell you what, George, in that situation there, 1 second left, I used to always have a play. We have a lob to the rim. You can have a back screen to lob it to your post, go right up for the tip in.
You know, right there, I think the Fighting Irish felt like the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday.
Oh, don't say that. Don't remind me of that. I mean, there's a lot of angry Cowboy folks out there. Are you a Cowboy fan?
No.
Okay, so you're good.
I'm a Jets fan.
Oh my God.
I've been on medication for that. Ma. $4:59 to go first half. St. Ignatius has led so far wire to wire.
You have to tip your hat to the Irish. They're fighting.
Blecka misses the three. And the second chance bucket not there. Big rebound for Elsie.
Nice job by Blecka to move it out the basketball. She just was not able to convert the layup.
I really like Elsie as a post, especially on defense. Acosta to Elsie. And she'll go to the line for two.
You just mentioned her name. Right on cue. She'll go to the free throw line for a couple. She's been able to impose her will down in the block. Offensive rebounds, post-ups in the zone offense that they're running. Now she has the opportunity for two free throws.
Elsie is playing taller than her listed 6 feet.
Very aggressive. She seals well down in the blocks, and she has that what they call a want to. She wants the basketball. When she sees the ball go off the glass, she believes it's hers.
Poe. Tough shot in traffic. Wildcats on the run out. Acosta. Ennis needs help. And she traveled.
Nice job on the defensive end. You got down to the areas on the floor. There's 12 areas on the floor, Georgia. You want to trap. And Elsie Ennis went down there. She got scrapped. She got trapped down that area for the easy turnover.
$3:57 to go, first half. Sawyer, short.
Again, George, this is where I feel that Sacred Heart, if they can move the ball, man movement and ball movement, I'm not a fan of the one pass shot, because they're not allowing the offense to run and they're not forcing the Wildcats to play defense.
Irish extend their D against the Wildcats. Ma in passing mode to Molly Ennis. Loose ball in the lane. And the arrow points to Sacred Heart Cathedral.
And the Irish switched their defense to a 55 man-to-man trapping. You can see the Wildcats was not prepared for that. That was the first time they showed man-to-man on their end of the floor in the first half. Now let's see if Sacred Heart can get some passes in, a couple passes, some man movement, cut to the rim.
Enriquez top to Poe. Here's Jemiah Sawyer. Elsie, the rebound, gets fouled from behind by Jemiah Sawyer. The Sawyers are twins. Jemiah and Janiah.
So Sacred Heart now is going to their 2-2-1 pester press, see if they can get in turnover, change the tempo.
Great job there by Ma, stepping to the ball.
Right idea with the trap into the corner. We talked about those 12 areas. Ma was in that 12th area with the foul on Sacred Heart.
Fouls on post. Scobie back in down low. And I think we're really seeing the Wildcats' size advantage make a difference. Elsie and Scobie with fresh legs for the rebound.
That's one of the reasons why they went to a zone, because they know they can't match up with their size. Now they switch to a man-to-man. They have a couple of consecutive stops on the defensive end.
Sawyer short on the scoop. Blecka, time running down. 5 to shoot for the Irish. Poe, need to get rid of it now. And too late for Sawyer.
So Sacred Heart was not aware of the shot clock in that situation. Ball went up and it did not hit rim, so the shot clock kept going. On offense, it looks as though Sacred Heart is running a 5-out motion set, kind of like a dribble drive offense. And you can see, as you mentioned earlier, they don't have any size in the post. It's looking to spread you out, try to create driving lanes to the front of the rim.
Inside 2 minutes to go. Maya Fox Club with the 7-point lead. Great hustle there by Ma. Wildcats got a little too ambitious.
That's the third consecutive defensive stop since they went to man-to-man. Ball pressure is allowing them to get up into the offensive players' space. They're not really able to act.
Versuva handling it. And nothing there on the road for Blecka.
Blecka did a great job of the scoop. As Poe with the foul as he was trying to trap Ennis. Coach is telling Ennis to stay off of the sidelines. Sacred Heart, George is using the sideline as an extra defender as well.
Ma left open. Elsie. Again. Wildcats with a third effort. Here's a fourth effort and the score.
In that situation, George, nothing usually turns out right if you're on the defensive end. If you give a team multiple opportunities to score at the front of the rim. That was 4 offensive rebounds. They was able to score on the 4th. Now they have the opportunity for the old-fashioned 3.
Untalen. Elsie kept it alive for the Wildcats, but it touched the baseline.
So actually it was an over the back on Elsie.
Officials trying to work out a clock discrepancy.
I'll tell you what, if you're Sacred Heart, you would love to have that score 18-3. As it's showing on the scoreboard right now, we just got to start all over.
So the official scorer is going to walk over to the table. You know, Joaquin, some of my earliest memories of this rivalry were being the official scorer as a sophomore for a game here with 5,000 people.
You know, I would have loved to see that. I mean, obviously the top is kind of quarantined off. It's not in action, but this place has a lot of memories, and it's really loud in here. We can barely hear the referee's whistles.
I could barely hear. I was sitting next to the public address announcer. I couldn't hear him whispering at the table. I couldn't hear him on the speakers.
In fact, I'm having a hard time hearing you as well. I mean, so we're kind of sitting so close together trying to hear each other.
1 minute to go in the first half. Poe handling it. And Reza on the go. Foul on the Wildcats. Wildcats have had a foul to give right there.
Nice job by Poe. Turn the screen down and attack the rim. She'll be shooting too. So what I like the offense they're running what they call a double stack at the top of the key. And the ball handler has the opportunity either to turn the screen down or attack the screen. Then you have a down screen rotating back out for the shooter up top. Poe didn't like that look, so she drove to the rim and was able to get to the free throw line.
One more coming up for Poe. Irish got a little bigger, bringing Scobie back into the lineup. Big possession here for St. Ignatius, Joaquin.
I would agree, and for Sacred Heart as well. If they get a stop and score, going to half down by either 4 or 5, that bodes well.
Elsie had the rebound.
An offensive foul on Elsie as well, coming over the back. That's her second consecutive offensive foul. I'm sure she'll be checking down here with 2 fouls heading into the third quarter.
Emmy Ennis will come back for the Wildcats.
So now, Sacred Heart can take this all the way down. At this point, you want to make sure you get the last shot of the quarter.
I think based upon watching them with the shot clock, you want to get it down in about 5 seconds, maybe 6.
I would agree. There's a foul as well, so at this point, they'll be shooting 1-on-1s here. Actually be taken out of bounds, so this would be the next foul they'll be shooting. So now they can play with the full complement of the shot clock with 22 seconds left. No need to rush here. And just as I say that, they shoot.
Acosta with the rebound. I love watching her on the run out. Final 10 seconds. Acosta. Kept alive for Ennis. And the 3. Molly Ennis puts an exclamation point on a great half for the Wildcats.
And you're talking about an exclamation point. You have the opportunity for Sacred Heart. They did not have to shoot the ball that fast. So what happens? Air ball, SI comes down. 3 ball, now they go into half with 10 versus Sacred Heart could have at least been down by 5 or 4. So let's stick a pin in that because that could have been a very pivotal part in the game for both teams.
Yeah, so a big swing lead at the break. The Wildcats lead at 30-20. We're back to Kezar after this, the Bruce Mahoney rivalry on the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
Do you?
Do you know SI?
Do you know SI?
Do you know SI?
Do you know SI?
I chose SI because it's a high school community that everybody's excited to be in.
SI is the kind of place you don't have to choose between being an athlete and an actor.
Kids that do arts, kids that do sports can really be friends.
We're all so different, and we celebrate that.
Everyone together, no matter who you are, is so enriching to be with people that have the same love for your school as you do.
The stuff that you learn here isn't just math and science, it's how to be a better person.
I think a lot of Jesuit values have helped me, even though I'm not a Catholic person. Jesuit is being with and for others.
Helping each other discover our common humanity, pushing each other to be our best selves. That's why SI is so great, is because we use that Jesuit mindset.
Jesuit is being open to growth. High school is definitely trial and error.
Being able to try new things or experience new things.
You have many opportunities to become a new person and really express yourself.
Jesuit is being intellectual.
The things you're learning in the classroom, you're fully encouraged to take out into the world and to apply to your personal experience. Jesuit is being religious.
Our motto is finding God in all things.
It's about finding a way to be connected to God that's unique to you.
Jesuit is being loving.
It all starts with finding yourself and loving yourself.
No one's left behind. Everyone has a place.
Jesuit is being committed to justice.
I am so grateful for what I have, and now I want to help the world. So if it does improve and progress.
Jesuit is being called to leadership.
Leadership is not really about the roles, the names, the titles that you're given.
I think SI provides a lot of opportunities for students to lead, whether they feel like they're the outspoken leadership type or they don't think they'd ever be seen as a leader.
You are a leader in some way or another.
This is Jesuit.
This is Jesuit.
This is Jesuit.
This is SI.
And you're looking live at Kezar Pavilion in San Francisco, where the Sacred Heart Cathedral dance team is entertaining the faithful from both schools. And Joaquin, we've seen a good half of basketball.
We had, but I want to go back to the last play of the last period, right? Sacred Heart again had an opportunity to cut into the lead. 22 seconds left on the shot clock. Baseline out of bounds play. At that point, you want to make sure you get the last shot of the half. As a result, long three ball missed. SI comes down, moves the ball, gets a three ball to go into half by 10. That is a confidence builder for the Wildcats and for the Irish. That could be deflating for them.
Yeah, absolutely deflating. And, you know, it's one of those things, those hinges when you go into a half. You know, if you're the team down, you want it to be, let's say, a three-possession game. 7, 8, 9 points. But 10 is a big step.
10 is a big step, but typically as a coach, you always tell your team, in particular in the fourth quarter or the last 10 minutes of the game, get me to within 10, and then I can win it for you. But at this point, now it's going to come down to the first 3 minutes coming out of half. What will Sacred Heart do in the first 3 minutes? Because if not, they could find themselves down by 15 and 20, and this game could be over.
And the other issue is, if you're Sacred Heart Cathedral, you know, it's just not letting St. Ignatius get too far ahead. And St. Ignatius has dominated the glass tonight.
St. Ignatius has the size. I mean, we've seen that. Elzey's been big inside. Ma's been big inside. Ennis has been able to knock down some shots. Acosta got out on a run out as well. So they have the size. But again, they're 2-0. They won over 11 games. They're the number 15th ranked team in the state. So they know how to win. They know exactly what to do. You have two teams in the top 25. Sacred Heart is number 25. SI is number 15, but they're playing like the number 15th ranked team in the state because they know Mitty is around the corner as well too, and Mitty is the team to beat in this conference.
Mitty is always the team to beat. You know, it's interesting. I've called women's NCAA Division I basketball for 25 years, and whenever you come across a Mitty player at the Division I level, you know that they're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to have a high basketball IQ. And they're always going to bring that veteran presence to your ball club, even if they're freshmen or sophomores.
Well, if you talk about a Mitty player, I happen to do games for Stanford, as you know. And one of the players that came from Mitty is Haley Jones. Guess what? She was the most outstanding player in the NC2A tournament. She is an outstanding player, one of the top players in the country coming out of high school. Sue Phillips does a great job of grooming their players, getting them prepared. So when you look at Mitty, you know you're going to have to bring it. So that's why SI know they have to win this game to keep pace with Mitty because that matchup is going to be interesting.
Well, you know, it's also interesting, you know, everybody in this league builds to beat Mitty. And, you know, Sacred Heart Cathedral's had a national championship more than a decade ago. St. Ignatius has had some great runs. St. Francis has popped up here and there. But when you've got one of the best programs in the country, it makes everybody better.
Because you know you have to compete with that team. So, again, anytime you're putting your team together, what are you doing? You say, okay, if this is the top team in our conference, we have to match them. That's our competition. You're not really concerned about outside of the conference. You're looking inside of the conference. And the teams you mentioned, St. Francis has been good at some point. Sacred Heart has been good at some point. But, again, Mitty brings it year in and year out. And if you want to get to the top of the mountain, you know at some point you're going to have to match up with that team, and you're going to have to be better because they always possess one of the best players in the country.
Well, talk about one of the best atmospheres anywhere in America tonight. I don't think you can ask for anything better than what we're enjoying at Kezar Pavilion.
Yeah, and last time we had this game match, remember a couple of years ago was at Haas, and it was standing there. That was pre-COVID. But in this situation here, despite of what's going on, despite all the cancellations, despite of what's going on with COVID, there is a festive crowd here, and it's a pretty entertaining game as well. Outside of the last play, I do believe that Coach Jackson is going to go in and try to talk to his team about being patient, getting the last shot. But it depends here how they're going to come out here in the at a halftime.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
To get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
How prepared is your family if a wildfire shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or an earthquake? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
And back here in San Francisco, it's halftime. The team's going through their warm-up. Sacred Heart Cathedral, you see them wearing the white right in front of you. They trail it by 10, 30-20. And Joaquin, keys for the second half for each team.
Well, if you look at Sacred Heart, they have to do a better job of taking advantage of opportunity to score. If you look at the Wildcats, continue to do what you do. Pound the ball inside, try to get some live ball turnovers, and get Ma in open court because she's been outstanding so far. And using the big man in terms of Eliza, she's been dominating down in the post. She has 2 fouls coming into the third period, so hope they keep her on the floor. If you look at Sacred Heart again, they have to be able to score easy shots, layups, putbacks, and free throws, but do a better job of moving the ball and getting good shots versus poor shots.
You know, I think we really seen the contrast between these two teams. Sacred Heart Cathedral does it with small, quick guards. St. Ignatius does it with a mix of slashing wings and physical posts.
Well, if you look at Ennis, I mean, she has nice size. You have Ma, who may be on her way to a double-double, and they have someone in the size in terms of Eliza. She's been able to dominate inside the paint. But again, if they continue to do what they're doing, they should win the game. But up by 10 in this situation here, I would say they got a gift at the end of the half to be able to score those to score that 3 ball to get up by 10. So that was a gift. So now let's see how Sacred Heart comes out in the next 3 minutes of the third period.
All right, well, Sacred Heart Cathedral and St. Ignatius, we talked about it earlier, Joaquin. This game is part of the best of 5 for the Bruce Mahoney Trophy. Whomever wins tonight, whether it's St. Ignatius or Sacred Heart Cathedral, takes the advantage in the series with 2 wins. You need 1 more, and that could be on Friday in boys basketball, a game you'll also see here on the Bay Area Online Sports Network at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So this could hinge. This, could be St. Ignatius holds on. They could wrap it up on Friday with basketball. Sacred Heart comes back. It could be the Fighting Irish claiming victory.
And that should be a nice matchup on Friday night. I mean, Friday night, Keys R Pavilion, San Francisco. It should be a lot of people, maybe bananas in here. We can't hear each other now. Just imagine how it's going to be on Friday evening.
Well, I'm going to get one of those things they sell on TV, one of those magic ears or something. I don't know.
We may need a bullhorn. Sit here and just call each other.
I have one in the back of my car.
Well, you need to bring it out here because
yeah, I have one.
We have to do that because it is loud and rambunctious in here right now. But again, it's a lot of fun. You can watch some high school basketball, right? We haven't had a chance to do high school basketball, you and I, for the last 2 years anyway. So I'm glad to see you again. Again, I mentioned I was for Clemson before the game.
And I think part of the fun of this is what it does for the crowd, what it does for the 2 school communities.
Well, it's a rivalry. I mean, you mentioned this is a historical rivalry. They've been going at it for several years now, so I'm sure they have this game marked on their calendar. And let's see what Wildcats do coming out of halftime.
Wildcats with the ball and the lead. Got a little clock trouble. This shot clock did not start. I did a game once for USF at Colorado State, and the 30-second shot clock operator didn't show up. So they drafted somebody out of the stands. They said, we'll give you a couple of free sodas and a hot dog. You do this. And he accidentally reset it in the final minutes, extended a USF possession. USF had a shot to tie the game, and it went 3 overtimes. And Colorado State lost.
I'm sure they didn't bring that guy back.
He needed a police escort to get to his car. Poor guy. And Elsie connects.
And we talked about Elsie, her ability to score inside. All of her points has been 2 feet inside the painted area. Again, she's able to get an offensive rebound, stick back for the score.
She defends the paint well. Scobie from the perimeter. Poe looking for that seam, and Elsie there for the air ball rebound.
Poe is amongst the trees there. She got a way to travel as well.
That's like being deep inside of Muir Woods.
And it was all redwood standing high, and she was trying to find her way through there. Poe was able to get 2 feet inside the paint, but once she picked up her dribble, there was nowhere for her to go. You see there, Georgia running a kind of a weave action offensively out of a 5-man motion set. They have not been able to score coming out of half. That's 2 consecutive possessions.
Wildcats try to Stretch a 12-point lead. Ennis. And Scobie fighting hard for the rebound. Great effort there by Ma. Ma has been quiet since the first quarter.
And
But
right
if the
now,
Irish are going to win, they need to score with shots like that.
I agree. And right now, the best offensive play for the Wildcats basically is their offensive rebound, the ability to get second chance opportunities.
LZ. And Scobie the rebound.
First time LZ has shot the ball outside of the painted area.
Poe, yes.
Nice job by Poe with the stop and pop. Sacred Heart back to the 1-2-2 matchup zone.
And Scobie called for the foul. That'll put Unselin on the line.
Scobie allowed the offensive player to cut in her right in front of her face. That's one of the areas you talk about defensively. You never let the offensive player cut in front of your face, and she was able to do that. Was able to establish inside position, go over right shoulder for an easy foul for the official for a couple of free throws.
Irish bring in Jamia Sawyer. Both free throws go. A lot of shooters have liked this building historically because there's a great contrast in the light behind the baskets.
And the stands are right behind the glass as well too, so there is no depth perception issues here.
You get in some of the bigger arenas, it can be hard. LZ, a textbook box out.
Great job of getting between her man and the ball. Wildcats have a chance to extend to their biggest lead of the game. They're already at 12, have a chance for 14 or 15.
Ma gets her own rebounds. Nearly a third shot there for Ma.
Ma didn't realize when she did her Euro step that she was that wide open. She was expecting contact.
Sawyer should go to the line for two.
The Sawyer got away with a travel first as she shuffled her feet. The official didn't see it that way. The foul was on Ma.
Jamia Sawyer to the free throw line. One more coming up.
So as I mentioned earlier, George, these are opportunities that if you're playing from behind and you are clearly the underdog, you have to take advantage of all opportunities to score. Layups, putbacks, and free throws are extremely important.
Second one goes. 11-point Wildcat lead. Ennis breaks pressure. And she'll go to the line for two.
Great job by Ennis. He was able to break the press, a one-man press. Sacred Heart came out with a 2-1-2 half-court press. Ennis was able to get the ball in the middle of the floor and dribbles to the front of the rim. Has opportunity for two free throws.
Emmy Ennis, the free throw. I mentioned that she and her sister Molly on the Wildcat varsity. Their older sister Madeline plays for Pacific. In fact, she'll be in town. In fact, probably in town right now because the Tigers play at USF tomorrow night.
And you'll be calling that game.
Yeah.
So you definitely can say hi.
I can say hi, yeah. Maddie started for Pacific in their last ball game against Gonzaga.
In fact, George, you may see both of the sisters at the game.
You never know. Franceschi with it. Elsie doing a good job defending the block. And The rebound grabbed by Ignatius Sawyer. You know, the concession stand is closed tonight, but my memories of this building in junior high and in high school and into my young adulthood were of burning popcorn at this point in the game. That's what you could smell. Poe, beautiful shot.
Nice job by Poe using her footwork to show and go with the fadeaway with the nice jumper. The lefty, count it.
Sacred Heart Cathedral taking the timeout, extends to a full. By the way, looking at timeouts remaining, Sacred Heart Cathedral has 3, St. Ignatius has 4. You get 5 per game.
They have to correct the scoreboard as they gave those 2 points to SI, and I'm sure they'll get that squared away. I have, on my end, 36-25 that we show.
It's what gets written down in the book that counts.
That's all that matters. Doesn't matter what the scoreboard says, but I tell you what, if you're a player, sometimes, George, you glance up at that scoreboard and say, hey, listen, that's not correct, but you let you have your coaches kind of handle that. But again, nice job by Poe, was able to get inside, a little shake and bake with the fall away jumper.
So, you know, people ask sometimes when you're a broadcaster, what are the 2 most important things in the building? The first thing I say is, where's the scoreboard? Second thing is, where's the bathroom?
I would say, well, it refers to order. Where's the bathroom first? In the scoreboard, right? Because you got to make sure you take care of your Mother Nature. Then you can watch the game, right? You
yeah,
those
are the 2 most important things. That and starting and stopping at the same time once we get in the booth.
And a good crowd. I mean, when you have a good crowd, it brings the energy to us as well.
Oh, yeah. That's what I missed about doing games remotely last year. Ma in deep. Wow, what a great job there drawing the defense and picking up the foul.
So that was a concerted effort. As you can take a look at a replay here, Ma was going inside, posted up the smaller defender. Now she has an opportunity for 2 free throws. So that was something that came out of halftime. They said, listen, we want you to take advantage of your size, get into the post up, and try to get something going to the front of the rim. Coach Jackson in front of us is having a conversation with the officials, basically saying you cannot allow her to just kind of bully her way inside.
I like how animated he is on the sideline. He's quite the character to watch.
Yeah, I've lost at least 10 pounds watching him.
Elsie, the Wildcats will go to the line for 2 more.
Opportunity again for offensive putback. Elsie imposing her will down in the blocks. Sacred Heart is kind of hanging around. 5 points coming out of half, only 6 points for SI. Both teams pretty much even coming out of halftime, although SI has a 1-point lead depending on this free throw.
Make it 2. And for the ball game, a dozen. 37-25 St. Ignatius. Inside 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. George Devine, Joaquin Wallace with you from Kezar Pavilion.
So, George, if you look at the offense for SI, it's basically Ma. Elsie, the post player, has been 1-2. Now you're starting to see the size come into play for SI, as Sacred Heart now has 5 team fouls. They'll be shooting, and speaking of SI, on the next team foul.
Emmy Ennis to inbound it to Eggert. Ma, a rare miss. You know, Ma missed that shot, Joaquin, but I liked about watching her, she was ready. As soon as that ball hit her hands.
She was in great shooting position. She was on balance. She has an idea of what she wants to do when she gets the basketball. You can see why her and Elsie is powering this team to a 15th ranking in the state.
Poe. And Versosa will go to the line.
So the most aggressive player on the floor for Sacred Heart is Poe. I mean, she's trying to get inside. She's trying to make things happen. As you mentioned, you liked her game. Very aggressive, scrappy, if you will. She needs her teammates to kind of follow her lead at this point.
And that's good for Blecka.
So on cue, Blecka knocks down the 3 ball on the baseline out of bounds play. I tell you what, George, when you drop those baseline out of bounds plays, I always say as a coach, if you can get 5 to 6 points coming out of that, that's pretty good. I liken that to special teams for you in terms of field goals in football. Anytime you're able to score out of baseline out of bounds, that helps you as well in terms of carving into the lead or extending a lead.
Sacred Heart Cathedral calling the timeout. They have 1 left for the rest of regulation.
Yeah, Coach Jackson is calling times out on the regular. I would like to see him space those timeouts because at the end of the day, he only has 1 remaining, and you still have over 10 minutes remaining in this game. 2 minutes in this, 2:55 in this quarter, and then 8 minutes in the next period. So I like to get his rationale on why he's calling so many timeouts on made baskets. Allow your team to play. That's what you do. You coach them, you allow them to play because at the same time, he doesn't have any timeouts remaining. And he may need a timeout late in the game. Just in terms of fatigue factor, you have to use your timeout strategically.
2:55 to go in the third. St. Ignatius, the 9-point lead. Wildcats trying to go to 3-0 in the WCAL. Both teams lost on Monday. St. Ignatius losing to Antelope 34-32, kind of a throwback game. And the Irish losing to Wilmerding 59-53. Look at power in the Bay Counties league. Like one of the Bay County School Urban plays its home games here at Kezar. Elsie shows her range.
If Elsie can score from there, that would be a big problem as scoring from 3 levels.
Both these programs have a great history of sending kids to the next level. Scobie getting fouled.
Nice entry pass, and what I like about that, George, she didn't wait. She went right over her right shoulder immediately and is able to get a foul.
Sacred Heart Cathedral, its national championship team going back to the late 2000s, I believe had 5 players who signed Division I letters of intent.
Very storied program. The historical Sorosities programs bodes well. They've been outstanding in the Bay Area. And it's no mystery these two teams have this great rivalry, as you mentioned earlier. I mean, you've been a part of a lot of these games, but if you take a look at the scoreboard right now, George, they're only down by 9. We're talking about the Irish.
But Elsie, part of the great tradition of St. Ignatius posts. Thinking of Sidney Raggio, who just finished up a great career at St. Mary's a couple of years ago. Worked a lot of Sid's games over the years. Elsie from the elbow, traveled.
So, an unforced turnover for St. Ignatius. Now, Sacred Heart has an opportunity to cut into this lead again. But now, what's interesting here, George, we talked about it. If they score, will he call a timeout? Because that's been his routine so far. And if so, he will have none remaining. So he has to be very judicial about calling his next timeout.
Scobie running the show, 9 to shoot for Sawyer. I don't know how that went in.
Yeah, Sawyer drove it over and kind of tossed it over her left shoulder right shoulder for a jump hook. Was able to score. Now they're down by 7.
And the 3-ball for Acosta. She's been quiet as a scorer.
An opportunity there, was able to knock down, like nice inside out play, was able to find the open man. She was able to knock down the 3-ball.
And a timeout called by St. Ignatius. So 42-32, the Wildcats ahead by 10. Maya Falk in her second year. She played for some great coaches at St. Ignatius, including Bob Drucker, who the court's named for at SI. He took the Wildcats to the state championship game in '84, back when they were a single gender school, boys only. But he helped get the girls program going in the 90s.
Well, you spoke to her before the game, and she mentioned the fact that regardless of the record, you have to throw it out the window because both teams are going to come with a lot of intensity. As you can see here, 10-point lead coming out of halftime. SI was up by 10. Closing out the fourth quarter, they're up by 10 as well. So far, so good for SI. If they can maintain this 10-point lead, they was able to continue their lead without giving up any terms in terms of the points.
42-32. Irish will have the ball. Wildcats using the full minute 15. 3 timeouts remaining for St. Ignatius. 1 left for Sacred Heart Cathedral.
And again, as I mentioned, stick a pin in that because that 1 timeout could be pivotal as this game moves to the fourth quarter.
Sawyer short. Ma on the run out. In traffic. She'll go to the line. The Irish wanted to travel right there.
Yeah, Ma did a great job. She was fielding off a defender off of her left shoulder, but then she had one coming back behind her right arm as well, but she did not slow down. She was able to get to the front of the rim and force the official to make a call.
So Jamia Sawyer back in for Scobie. So the Irish are going to go small right here.
So look for them to run their 5-out motion set again. Get the dribble drive, penetration.
Elsie fouled on the rebound.
I don't agree with that call. You can't fault her for being taller than anyone on the floor. She just went over and just grabbed the basketball. She didn't do anything illegal in that point. She didn't body the offensive player or the defensive player as well.
You know, a lot of people don't understand. They call it the over the back, but what it really is if I do that to you, I kind of nudge you or I push you with my hands from behind. That's what they're calling.
Exactly. And she didn't do that on that play. She just was taller than everybody. She just kind of grabbed the ball over the head.
You can't penalize the taller player for being tall or the superior leaper for having more light beneath their feet.
And I agree with that, and that's exactly what happened there because clearly she did not foul. She just rebounded the basketball as she's supposed to do.
I had an official explain that to me in high school. He said, don't call it over the back, kid, because that's not what it is. And if they do call it over the back, there's got to be something happening, you know, at waist or back level. There's got to be a push. There's got to be a shove. Elsie the rebound. Final 35 seconds of the third. Wildcats could lead by 13 with a triple. Acosta calling for a screen from Elsie. Beautiful steal there by Blecka. And nothing but net for Enriquez. Ashley Enriquez, a big shot. Wildcats, 10 seconds to work here. Mahoney on the drive. Nothing going on. On the run out, Irish to beat the clock. And time runs out.
Well, I like the live ball turnover to a 3-ball by Sacred Heart to get back in this game. Now they're down by 7. I like the no call on the other end of the floor as well for St. Ignatius. The Sacred Heart Could have been called for an offensive foul, but they didn't. Officials let them play, and then they had opportunity to get something at the end of the period as well. So we'll see how it comes out in the final 4 minutes as they will be able to cut into this lead. Now they're down by 7.
Well, fourth quarter coming up on the Bay Area Online Sports Network.
As the COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions. And that's normal. So for the latest information, visit getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
And you're looking live again at the St. Ignatius Faithful here at Kezar Pavilion in San Francisco. George Devine, Joaquin Wallace with you. The girls' edition of the Bruce Mahoney rivalry. Wildcats with the 7-point lead. And a chance to widen it as we start the fourth. And as Lawrence Tanter says in Los Angeles, final period.
Final period, and we'll see exactly how the Irish come out. They were able to cut in this lead by 3. Now they're down by 7.
Nice backdoor cut, and Acosta scores.
Excellent job getting inside. Acosta goes to the back door. The defender was looking at, not at the man with the ball.
And a steal by Ma. Ma had the assist before. She has the basket now.
And Ma is putting her DNA all over this game. We talked about her earlier. She came out in the first period, was kind of quiet in the third period, but now she come out and bench is trying to take this game over in the final period.
Irish work toward the Stanyon Street end of Kezar. Poe. And the rebound is all Ma. Wildcats would like to get this into stats time. Great bailout there by Acosta.
If SI scores here, you may see the final timeout for Sacred Heart.
Great hustle by Ennis to the rebound. And the score for Ma.
And George, I love that start and stop. You can see she dribbled, hesitated, froze her man, regained her dribble, laid it off the glass for an easy bucket.
And the reach on the Wildcats.
So that should be the 6th foul. Sacred Heart should be shooting free throws here. Now they have a chance to score. So I found 6 fouls. I guess they shoot on the next foul.
Scobie flash gets it. Poe nearly picked by Acosta. Irish recover. Still a lot of time to work. Guess who's got the rebound? It's Elsie, but she stepped on the baseline.
Flecker did a great job of penetrating, getting to the rim. She was expecting contact. In that situation there, George needs to go up through the contact. Don't look to get fouled. Force the official to make a call.
Illegal screen on the Irish.
It's a turnover for
Scobie.
Sacred Heart. So those are turnovers that you typically don't count as a turnover, but it is because it's not a live ball turnover in that situation. Scobie was not a happy camper coming out of the game there, as you heard, George. She felt that she did not touch her. The officials saw it otherwise. Costa tried to get inside, try to create a pass. The spacing on the floor was not good whatsoever.
Irish create the turnover, and Blecka can't hold on to it.
Yeah, Blecka did a great job of getting her hands on the basketball for the attempted steal. And they're going to need more of that in the final 5 minutes of this game.
Elsie does it again.
Nice job by Elsie. Catch the ball at the pinch post, turn and face, drove to the middle of the lane, left-handed jump hook for the easy basket.
Great fake there, but nothing going for Blecka. Wildcats on the run out.
Second opportunity for Blecka with a point-blank shot, but the scoop and reverse. No, it was a travel, but Blecka again had an opportunity at a point-blank shot, expecting the contact. She just has to go through that, George, because she has opportunities.
No basket on the turnover. Blecka looking for a seam. Sawyer, shot clock to 5. Franceschi. And the Wildcats on the run out.
Nice ball movement, was not able to convert.
Right now, if you're St. Ignatius, Joaquin, do you start thinking about milking the clock?
At this point, you just want to continue to do what you do. Score in open court, attack the rim, because you will go to the free throw line.
Yes!
That was a big-time shot. She was able to catch at the lower block turn, spun around, put her in a spin cycle, was able to lift over for the short jumper.
I did laundry today. You just reminded me.
I need to do mine as well, too, when I get home.
And the 3 is good for Janiyah Sawyer.
Sawyer with a first 3 ball of the evening. They're going to need more of that as they find themselves down by 14. George, they're going to need some stops and some scores. Easier said than done.
And a travel. The Irish will change 3/5 of their lineup. Remember, they only have 1 timeout for the duration of regulation. And I really think, Joaquin, you're a Wildcat score away from this going into stats time.
I agree, and we talked about that 1 timeout. This is where it hurts your team at this point, because now you use timeouts for fatigue factor as well. You only have 1 timeout remaining, so you can't take it here because you may need it later on in the game.
Big shot there for Ashley Enriquez.
So SI just need to be patient, continue to run their offense, use their size, go to the front of the rim, and they will shoot free throws.
Do they give her the continuation? No.
Look like the NBA, you get 1 dribble and 1 dribble right after and a step through.
You know, I'm not a big fan of this because this is taking points off the board. If the player can get to the basket, get off a good shot, it's probably a good no call.
In some cases, they can be. And typically, officials will look at the flow of the game as well and will determine whether they're going to call the whistle or not if the ball goes in. That's why you have sometimes late whistles.
And it kind of cranks up the pressure on Ma here because to get 2 points, she's got to make the first free throw to get the second. This is not a spare opportunity. It's a 1-and-1. Gets them both.
They're up by 14 now, so it's pretty much impossible for the Irish to come back and win this game. There's not enough time left in the game, in particular because the Irish has not been able to stop the Wildcats from scoring.
And they're not a big play offense. Poe. Elsie the rebound. And right now, I think you got to start thinking of chunks of time, about 25 seconds of possession for St. Ignatius.
St. Ignatius does not need to score at this point. They can have 3 consecutive non-possessions and can still win this game.
Huntelen with the miss. No break at the end. Jackie Acosta, the lefty. Huntelen keeps it alive. She'll go to the line for 2.
And she's been huge with her presence down low. She may not have scored a lot of baskets, but she scored timely baskets. And that rebound as well will give them an opportunity for 2 free throws and to extend their lead.
You know, the Wildcats' inside depth, the combo of Elsie and Huntelen, I think could really propel this team when you get into late February and into March.
Well, as you know, oftentimes basketball games are won inside the paint. It's like football, right, in terms of the run game. You have to be able to play inside out as you get into playoff basketball because guess what, George? All those teams are pretty good, and all of them play good defense. So you're going to have to play within 54 feet and try to get inside the painted area to score. If you can knock down some threes, that's good as well, but everything is going to be won inside the blocks.
And if you've got posts who can pass, you're extra potent.
They have the ability to play inside out. Although they have not knocked down a lot of threes, their post inside as well as Ma has been outstanding. Acosta has been able to get out in transitions for some easy buckets as well on live ball turnovers. But they do have presence inside as we speak, and that should be a layup as well.
Huntelen.
Huntelen again, stick back.
And right now, the Wildcats icing their cake. And a foul will put Eid on the line.
Well, it looks as though the Wildcats will be extending with 3 wins in the conference. Depends on what Mitty does. They will be tied 3-0 at the top of the conference.
And the Wildcats with a tough one on Saturday. They play St. Mary's Stockton in a tournament. Irish off until next Tuesday. They'll play at St. Francis of Mountain View. Ascot Memorial Gym is always a tough place to play. I don't care what you're playing in there. It's an old barn like this. But they got rid of the stage at one end.
So St. Ignatius will go to a 12-2, it looks like. Mitty is 13-1.
Eid gets both. 13-point game inside a minute and a half to go.
As you mentioned, SI is number 15th in the state of California. So they will definitely hold their position or move up a couple of notches as well. The next rankings.
And the Wildcats hustling late despite the lead.
That's the second time Acosta has got the ball stolen right in front of her. What she's doing, George, she's dribbling right in front of the defender. She's not shifting her body between the man and ball, so the defender just reaching their hand down and taking the ball from her. So she needs to turn her body at an angle versus dribbling right in front of the defender.
Nothing there on the putback. 1 minute to go. And boys basketball will happen on Friday. The Wildcats could seize the Bruce Mahoney Trophy with a victory. Beautiful reverse look for Ma.
Nice job of Ma showing her athleticism. Accustomed with the long arm of the law, used a go-go gadget arm to knock that out of bounds, but Ma did a great job getting to the second side of the rim for the reverse layup.
Heed. She's got 4 in the last minute.
So at this point, SI does not need to shoot the basketball, just take the air out of the ball here, and they'll get out here with a victory.
Well, the Wildcats are going to pick up the win over Sacred Heart Cathedral. And the boys basketball could decide it on Friday. St. Ignatius takes the advantage in the Bruce Mahoney series. Joaquin, your final thoughts real quick.
Great game for SI. They came out and showed their will. They show why they're the number 15th ranked team in the state of California. Was able to control this game from the opening tip. They went into halftime by 10. They end the game with a 13-point victory. Great job for SI.
So St. Ignatius, the victors tonight, and we'll see you again on Friday here from Kezar. Joaquin and I will be back. Boys action, Sacred Heart Cathedral hosting St. Ignatius. And it'll be on live at 7 Pacific on the Bay Area Online Sports Network. We'll see you then.